Yeah, let's take a look at a topic that if you're involved in sales and you want to move on upwards and maybe improve yourself, you might want to look at coaching as well. So we're looking here for people that manage mortgage advisors, financial advisors, and how you coach people. So you might be managing any type of salesperson. So take a look at some top tips then when it comes to coaching salespeople. And I call these advanced tips because these are not silly little tips. These are advanced ones there for you here. Advanced coaching tips. Now, I love coaching, do it a lot. I coach a lot of salespeople in my time, one-to-one, live coaching, all sorts of things I do as well for part of my income. And it's a great thing to do if you do it right. So let's talk about how you can do that. So first one then is be aware that coaching itself, let's get some pens out for you. Coaching itself has, well, people just don't define it very well. I get paid, you see, to move the spectrum. Here's the coaching spectrum, as I call it. And it's defined between pull and push. Now, as a coach, I will pull information from the person I'm coaching, get them to figure stuff out, but I will also push information at them. I'll give them ideas and tips and techniques. Now, I get paid to move the spectrum, go across. So at any given time, I might be giving somebody some ideas, and then I'm going to be asking them questions. So be aware that coaching is just not one or the other. You will get paid to move across that spectrum as well. So use lots of questions here, give lots of good information there as well. The other thing about coaching tip number 2, is that aficionados think that the coachee has all the answers. Now, the coachee is the person that you're coaching. That's the salesperson, the advisor, etc. A lot of people think they have all, but they don't. They don't have all the answers. Some particularly new people don't. So be prepared as a coach to give them some ideas as well. Don't sort of stick strictly to the fact that they've got all the answers. Some coaches get hung up on that as well. The other thing as well is if you're the boss, this is tip number 3 for you. Often the boss, of course, is the coach. That often happens in advising. You've got a boss, for example, a supervisor, and if they tell you something, in other words, you don't know the answer, and they give you some ideas, sometimes the person you're coaching agrees to you because you're the boss, because you know all the answers. Besides, if they're yes to you, then you'll promote them and give them pay rises. So be careful if you are the boss, because any suggestion you make, they're going to take on really quickly because you are the boss. Now, a lot of people use Grow. I'm a great fan of Grow. The Grow model is the way that people like to coach, GROW. A few things around there for you. Now, the G is the goal. In other words, you've got to have an objective before you start coaching anybody. The R is the reality. Now, the reality is the current situation, what somebody's currently doing towards the goal. Now, the tip here really is to test it. Test the reality. Find out what's happened behind the scenes. Look at emotions behind what they've done up to now. Because if they're not doing what they've said they're going to do, why are they not doing it? What's the underlying motivation behind it? So you need to really test to make sure there's factors. Dig a bit deeper when it comes to reality as well. The second one is the options. Now here you want to get loads of options. The point here though is you're asking questions of the person you're coaching to get ideas that they're going to use to achieve the goal. That's pretty what you do. Now here what you want to be thinking about is the options. Again, you want to be digging a bit deeper here. Find out the pros and cons of each of the options. Find out whether there's something behind the option. Is it a bigger option or is it a smaller option? So be prepared to chunk up and down the goals when it comes to the options as well. That's really important to do that. And the last point there is the W, which is the will or the want. Call it what you like, really. Here I like, these are the action plans, the actions. Now remember, coaching itself is never successful unless you have an action plan. Otherwise it's just a fireside chat, isn't it, over a cup of tea. You've got to have actions. Now I always test the actions, particularly if I'm the boss, because they might just say, yes, I'll do this, boss. Yes, boss, no, boss. Test it. Find out, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to do this? Are you really going to do that? Really hit them hard with that as well, because that way you can really make sure they're going to do that as well. A couple of ideas for you on the coaching tips for you. Calibrate as soon as you meet them. So you meet the coachee, calibrate their face, see what their normal is, watch body language, watch for leakage, watch for any changes in their physiology, which might tell you what's going on. That's another tip there for you. If you're coaching in a busy environment, say a hotel room or something, or a hotel reception, which we've often done, then make sure that you go into a little corner possibly. Be aware of what's behind you, because the coachee's looking at you, but stuff behind you might distract them. So face a wall if you can, or I should say put your back to a wall. So for example, this whiteboard is behind a wall. I've got a wall behind there. Not too much to distract you, unless of course you're trying to read those books to see what the titles are. So in a hotel, make sure that your back has nothing behind it. Try not to have lots and lots of distractions around you. I like to have a cloak. It's an invisible cloak which I put over myself and the coachee, so we get close and we get talking. We can ignore everything around us as well. That's really useful. And the last one for you, last tip for you, is always have a couple of rescue questions. I call them biscuits in your pocket. For example, if you put a biscuit in your pocket and you took the biscuit out, it all starts to get crumbly, isn't it? There's no way you can put it back in. So have a couple of biscuits. These are rescue questions. These are questions you use when you run out of things to say. My favourite rescue question is, what's your next step then? It's just irrelevant, but it works in every part of the Grow model. You know, if I forget completely what I'm going to say, what's your next step now? Or what's on your mind right now is another one that I might use if I completely run out of what to say. Where are you now in this goal is a nice one to use. So have a couple of rescue questions. So these are just top tips really that are going to help you to give or to do better coaching. And if you're an advisor or salesperson that's been promoted to give coaching, many do before they become a sales manager, then make sure you get good at coaching. Let me know if you want any more ideas on the topic. Hope that's been useful. Bye.